And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Toya, and welcome to Soultiful. You're in for a treat today, my beautiful, dare I say, colleague, definitely my dear sister, and definitely my director. I'm in a soap opera, a virtual soap opera, and she's my director, y'all. She does a whole lot of stuff too that we'll discuss in the show. But she's going to talk to us today about living that extraordinary life. You can, I can, we all can, and she is doing it right now. So without further ado, welcome to Soultiful. And today we have Courtney Omega.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.
It is so simple. Hello, I'm Toya. Anybody else in here?
Hello.
Hi, I'm Janet.
Are you muted, Nakia? You're muted.
Hi, I'm Nakia.
Welcome to Soultiful, y'all. We're so glad that you're here with us today. It's going to be an amazing show. As always, our first segment is always what you're working now. So let's hear it, Nakia. You're working on a lot of stuff, sis. What's going on?
I am working on a proposal for SCORE Washington D.C. chapter. It is a RFP for services, so it'll be my biggest services to date. So I'm pretty nervous, but I'm working on it.
Nice. What is an RFP for those who don't know?
An RFP is a request for proposal.
Oh, and what is SCORE?
SCORE is a national nonprofit that helps business owners, entrepreneurs get on the right path. They mentor you.
Yes. Love SCORE. Awesome. And Janit Jack.
What did I do today? I was cleaning out my Dubsado,
Nice.
removing all my projects, and then just cleaning up my emails.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That's good. It's good to do housekeeping, right? So hey y'all, I'm Toya, and today I didn't mean to do this. I dropped my husband off at the airport and I was on my way back home, but something made me stop and start working on social media stuff. Like I changed my picture and like 70 people like my post. So that was amazing. So when I saw that happen, I immediately updated my website. I said if people are coming to like my post, let them see my new website, even though it's not done. But so just working a little social and family stuff, just dropping my husband off and getting back home. So that's me. Courtney Omega.
Well, I am working on a few things myself this weekend, actually. First of all, we have 2 more days of production for the situation this week. We have Wednesday, which is Reparations Wednesday. Be featuring our very own Corey Watson and
I have Dr. Carl for my
um,
name.
first we have our out the situation for that I'm producing. We will have Richard Rose from the NAACP. He will be sitting down with the Dr. F. Keith Slaughter himself and discussing the upcoming elections on November 2nd. This Saturday, I will be doing a vegan cooking demonstration for the 7th annual Unity Festival for the Beloved Community Church. I'm going to be vegan gumbo yum and hosting a bar, which is salad, not seafood, y'all. For all of our Floridians that think of raw bar as a good old oyster and clam and mussel kickback, this will be a build your own salad or build a better salad. And this Sunday, I am the guest with providing the ghoulish Grovade punch for my sister's fall festival in Austell, Georgia. So I'm working on it all. Ah!
Girl, you busy girl. I like to build your own salad though. Love that. I love a salad.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that too. Mama Dor says she's sitting in the bed with the stomach ache,
Love
watching her
salads.
favorite ladies. So, Mama Dorch, we're praying that your stomach will feel super fantastic as soon as possible. And Courtney, I'm sure you have some remedy for her. What could help her with her stomach?
I was going to say thank you. So she wants to make a ginger lemon and a little bit of a mint tea. Just
Yeah.
steep in it. That's all the ingredients you need. You don't even need to get a bag. Just some raw or pickled ginger if you like it pickled, which they sell on the international food aisles of most major shop center market. And you can either get fresh mint or you can get what my daughter likes to do because she's a sugar nut like all Tauruses are. I'm learning they're all sugar fiends. She likes to crush up some peppermint and put that right in the tea.
Mm.
Let that dissolve down and put a little bit of lemon. And if you need more sweetener, you can definitely add some honey. But the gin will really do it for a stomach.
Oh, Mama Dorch, I wonder if it's certain
My
type of teas that give you heartburn.
cocktail.
Mm. Yeah, I wonder if it's certain.
Mm,
I know for me, if a little water and lemon helps me, that helps my stomach settle most of the times.
intolerant, just inherent our naturally our diets, which are of course derivative of African culture and cuisine and what's available in Africa is not going to be cultured, and cured meats and cheeses. So this is why over time. So it's funny how that's the case, but we founders of macaroni and cheese, which is our most lactose friendly dish to date, a part of our soul food, cuisine, our soul food menu. But yes, we
I think she
naturally
means
lactose
period.
intolerant.
Yeah, I think she means tea period. So she's gonna try lemon and water. Yeah, Toya loves that lemon and water.
Mm-hmm.
I do, because it helps me. I like what helps me. All right, guys. Well, without further ado, um, Courtney has come here to really give it to us. One thing I will say, just because Courtney is my friend, I said that I've loved watching her over the years because we all have the ability to kind of live on that unbeaten path. And I think sometimes it's harder for intellectuals. And Courtney is indeed an intellectual. She is a scholar. She's definitely collegiate and all that kind of stuff. But she's able to think outside of the box. She is definitely a serial entrepreneur and all that jazz. So Courtney, publicist, producer, director, chef. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, without further ado, Courtney, give it to us. Talk to us.
Give it to y'all. Well, I love being able to just chat with people that get it because
Yeah.
again, you again for the I am so grateful that we, met as neighbors and we have continued to be friends and developed into sisters. And like you said, colleagues, actually doing a project together is phenomenal. And I don't consider myself just directing you. I consider myself as just, we're working together. We're building. So I appreciate that glowing introduction and then welcoming me back to Soultiful. I love being here with you ladies. Y'all know I have three sisters, so this is always like, coming home a bit. And as Toya can tell you, I like the Cheetos. Anyway, this is good content. But as I said, people have there are levels to this when we talk about living your best life, right? And what does that mean for you personally? So I think that's the first thing. I like to break things down into, three steps. Like whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm advising, I like to break things down into three steps. And I, said, hey, what are three things I wanted to focus on in regards to this conversation? If living an extraordinary life, we have to realize that's starts right as we know with making a big change to our physique or to our health. It starts with little changes to our diets, just like and I'm sorry, I misheard. I thought a sister Dutch was um saying that she had eaten some cheese and she was having a stomach ache. I didn't know she was saying she couldn't do tea. But like you said, this is just hot water. So it's hot water, lemon, ginger, and some mint. If she wanted to crush up some peppermints and put it in the hot water, let it melt down, that'll sweeten it a bit for you. But at any rate, you know, changing your health, your physique, small changes. And I think that's what is kind of missed a lot of times when we think about creating a extraordinary life. We think that these have got to be, you know, you've got to be huge thing, you've got to make huge accomplishments. If you're not doing it on the scale of Michelle Obama or, you know, a Tamika Mallory, or, you know, if you're not as wealthy and you're able to fund whole movements, you overlook the fact that you becoming a voice parent that can't attend PTA meetings, that is making a big change, because that's an opportunity that a lot of our parents do miss, you know, and that's a lot of feedback that is needed this particular demographic in our school systems, which, you know, we don't get access to certain funding and certain programs because there was nobody there to advocate on our behalf. So just saying, hey, I'm available, I'll attend those meetings and I'll report back to the other moms that couldn't. That's a small change. That's an extra hour or two a month, because most of the time those PTA meetings are just once a month. You know, that's an hour or two, but you're able to planning a big growth, right? Yes, that's definitely one of the small ways we can look at, because how is, you know, I love this saying, even if I don't never eat an elephant, I would like to say I would never be in a position where I had to eat an elephant, but the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time. You know, the same adage with the step of the journey of 10,000 miles starts with one step. You know, we have to start looking at the small things that we can do and having the vision out in front of us to have accomplishments, but thinking, what can I do today, right now, to start this change? And so, fortunately and unfortunately for me, I like to wake up every day with this type of notion. But some of the days it is you do need a reset, and I've had to learn that in this walk, you know, the past couple of years, because if COVID was nothing else, it was a great opportunity to reset. And I think that that was literally the universe telling us in a collective form, hey, y'all need to sit down for a minute, because everybody's, social media, we Starbucking, we TikToking, we, twerking, we marching, we rally, we're this, we're that, and sit down. Sit down and just, school stop, work stop. I tell you, that some people, want things to go back the usual. They want it to go back to normal, so to speak. But Courtney Omega is not one of them. The pandemic, the COVID-19 situation, of course, again, heart goes out to the many people that have lost loved ones to this. But it has provided an opportunity to look at with a different perspective. And sometimes, as a quote from one of my favorite movies of all time, the of course X. Sometimes candor is the only kindness. So when I tell you you need to sit your butt down, I'm saying it with love. I'm saying it with love and with honesty. So, these are just certain things I like to be mindful of. And again, even with that being said, I'm still human, of course. And as I was telling a colleague of mine, another brother of mine as well, that even superheroes have human sometimes. know? And sometimes we do need that rest. And that's something that I have to actually remind myself of, not answering not answering every call, listening to the voicemail and seeing what they want and prioritizing how I'm going to spend out the rest of my day. Because years ago, I made a rule not to take work to bed with me. And I have found myself in the last 2 or 3, weeks doing just that. And I literally had to stop myself on Monday. I literally had to stop myself and say, I'm going to stop doing that. Time into the bed, I may take my Bible and journal and that, but I'm not taking work to bed in with it, because I'm not going to work in my sleep. I'm not going to work by osmosis.
Mhm.
So, like I said, sometimes I will be very honest. It is hard for me to even, but I had this opportunity to be here and be accountable, because as you all know, in Glow Up Nation, that's something that's very necessary. We always talk about being able to be aware. You have to be aware to be accountable. And so with me saying it out loud, that definitely puts me in a different mind frame of being accountable as well.
That's good.
So, thank you. Thank you. So that's something that I am definitely, catching my breath for a second, but that's something that I am, personally, struggle with, because, like, as Toya mentioned, I come from a very, collegiate and academic background, and my family doesn't, for the most part. I have my sister here, fortunately, and Austell understands and gets it, and we work on these projects and opportunities together. But for the most part, my family does not get and understand. What do you mean you're not on a 9 to 5? You could be making a lot of money working for the city and the government. Me leaving the government um, sector was one of the hardest decisions that I've ever had to make,
Mhm.
because I was able to not only pay expenses out of one check, but I check and have left over. I
Mhm.
was to just cat is trying to catch this fly in here, so he's going a little crazy. But I had never had that in my adult life, and here I was now, not having to, um, and not having to, piecemeal things together. Well, I had had the opportunity in my adult life to not piecemeal together, but not from a job,
Mhm.
and so this was the first time that I ever gotten something of pay that commiserated my degree. But I felt like I was coming into a situation, and this is where we talk about being honest and the importance of being honest, and the realization of being aware. I had come into a situation where I found myself challenged with my morals being compromised, because I
Mm.
was working in the government, but I was working for a gentleman that I was very attracted to, who was also very married, and
Mm.
there was never any infraction on his part nor on my part, but just the fact that I was very attracted. My get on, and I said that I remotely being. And so, luckily for me, God threw me. They say God always got a ram in the bush. God threw me the opportunity to have a resignation peacefully, because the opportunity to run for office presented itself. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and run for office. And since I was working for the government, it would have been a conflict of interest to have this position with working for the government and with being elected official. So I went ahead and resigned, and I always look back at that moment as being, that shouldn't have been the catalyst that uh, uh, played a it definitely played a big part. wanted to make a smooth exit, but I still wanted to do something that was fulfilling my purpose. And I
Mm-hmm.
do believe my purpose has always been to be a voice for the voiceless, a representative, and to just do it with the panache and professionalism and the poise that is my family's legacy. So I was proud to serve the Coconut Grove community as the youngest elected council member for the term, the time that I did serve that term. So that was also to letting purpose be your guide going. Like I said
I have a
again,
question.
it be
Okay. In today's society, a lot of people seem to have a purpose. How do you know if your purpose is appropriate for the times? Does that make sense?
I like to look at that question within the same regard of I like to feel like I'm spirit led. I pray about
Mm.
everything and anything. I get into my closet and I say if it's something I'm supposed to do, and I like work these the y'all freeze and I after 3 points of confirmation. That's me personally. Some people, again, their purpose is their legacy. If that was something that their parents did, that's something that they do. For a long time, if you would have talked to me 10 years ago, I didn't see myself going into office, even with my grandmother being, never having lost an election and being a two-time commissioner and two-time mayor. I didn't see myself as picking up that stride and thinking, okay, I'm gonna run for office. Like that wasn't something I was interested in. So I think that depending, like you said, it seems everybody has a purpose, but you'd be surprised. Some people really don't. Some people they feel like their mission in life is just go to their job, or your job well, and but I think that they don't hang that up on a purpose. They just have that as a task or
Mm-hmm.
as a responsibility. That's a better term. But some people's purpose is to be a great mom because you don't know, or a great parent. You don't realize how you serving and what you're doing is leading such a sound example. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people are working in their purpose and don't realize it. I really I on the I think I side on the um uh I think I err on the side of seeing there are more people that are living or that are actively going through their life but are not living, and so they aren't living for purpose, and they're not living thinking that they have a purpose. I think that really comes from building a relationship with our one and only true savior, the
Mm-hmm.
our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I really honestly believe that, because even with the type of family that I had, I was raised very well, had a great upbringing,
Mm.
and just felt really why. It wasn't until I started myself to that relationship with God. Unfortunately, that happened. I won't say, but I am just come to that realization. But the looking, the searching, the seeking of that didn't even happen until I was divorcing. And once I got it, it was just like, whoa, nothing can keep me from it, because I know God's with me on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going into a game and knowing you playing with Michael Jordan. It's like I got this because God told me, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I do think that it comes from, first of all, seeking, really wanting to know, you know, confirmation. And the confirmation, like I said, it might come in different forms. It might come from your children. It might come from a song. It might
Mm-hmm.
come from an opportunity that continues to present itself to you. which is kind of what happened with me with how I ended up back in Atlanta. I was in Miami, and I was planning on, after my council term was over, I planned on running for a commissioner. I planned on serving one term, and I planned on repatriating back to Africa. That was my plan. And then when COVID happened and I had a moment to sit still, things started coming into my recommendeds about homes in Atlanta. And I was just like, wow, I hadn't thought about moving back to Atlanta. So I thought that was odd that they just started flowing back in. And then, as Toya mentioned earlier, I started working on, the media project, the web series, the soap opera
Mhm.
that I'm writing. And come to find out, my coworker or my co-writer, who I hadn't talked to literally in 20 years, she found me through my YouTube channel, and she was someone who I wrote with when I was in college. And so I said, "Hey, I'm writing this series, and I'm planning on moving back. I'm thinking about moving to Atlanta because one of the production companies is in Atlanta, so I'm planning on selling it to them." And she said, "Well, she's from Texas, y'all. So she said, well, if you're coming to Atlanta, you better come on because I'm here." And I said, "You're in Atlanta?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Wow." So that was two. And then I reached out to a friend of mine that I'd known from Philadelphia, and she had just gotten divorced. So she had, home and a space available. I said, "Hey, I'm, planning on moving to Atlanta, but I don't have a place." She said, "Well, yeah, we could make it work. I have a house, and, we'll make it work." And so I got my three. I moved on up to Atlanta, and I told God I didn't want to do nothing in politics. I just wanted to write this series. And within 2 weeks of me saying that, I met a woman I had never known. I wasn't connected to her by any way. But she was running for county commissioner. And she said God told her I was supposed to be her campaign director. And with that being said, I said, "What's your budget?" She made an offer I could not refuse. I agreed to be her campaign director, and though we didn't win the race, she did get me the townhome, and that's how I. So it's God has a way of confirming when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I
Mhm.
that's what I mean to say. So it's very, to me anyway, it's very important to have that relationship with the higher power, with God, because other than that, you're kind of, to me, you're throwing darts in the dark. Something may hit. A broke clock is right two times a day, but to
It's
really
true.
get your purposes and to have that support, you definitely want to have God, as the centerpiece of what you're doing.
That is
Absolutely.
true. Yes, I
But
have
great
been
question.
thinking
I'm
of.
kooky. I'm kooky.
Oh, really? Yeah, I have been thinking
I'm,
about pivoting. We started a conference last year, so I've been thinking about pivoting to speaking. Um, Not just for the conference, but in support of the conference. So I have been trying to set intentions to go with that. So I was just trying to figure out, what leads you to do certain things. Um, I'm still working
right.
on, okay, what is my platform, and that type of thing. But I think that that is something that I do want to do.
And yeah, that's why I said confirmation. Just look for the confirmation. You'll see it in some of the most unexpected places. Like I said, I'm a little kooky. So, I'm not textbook at all when it comes to these certain things. I'm no expert. I can just tell you, how I've lived my life. But I definitely wish you well with the endeavor. And like I said, God has a way of confirming. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, God will, He'll put you in places you weren't even invited.
This is true.
Literally.
Hey!
That is
Yeah.
true.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
Yes,
Lord.
I was invited to a Facebook leadership group today,
Yeah.
so that is very interesting because I was like, what is this?
Come on. Confirmation. God, just use me. Let me be a vessel. My mouth ain't even my own. Just let God just speak through me. That's that's that right there is confirmation. Like I said, it'll come from places that you didn't even expect it. We hadn't discussed that before, but look at there, put you in places that you didn't even realize, existed. And like a friend of mine just told me yesterday, a friend and colleague, brother Lazaric, I thank you so much. He really poured some wonderful seed into me yesterday. But he said and word you. I read quote for me, yes, and another thing I agree with that. That I like to. What was that again? No. Let me see. Let me rework that. Let me see how we can use that as a as a that's a launch pad for us to move towards the yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. I signed up for an accountability group that has coaching built into it for public speaking. So I think I'm in the right place to do what I need to do. And I'm very excited about that. So I'm looking forward to it.
That is exciting.
I
Exciting
love
to me.
accountability. It's definitely needed. I,
Hmm.
I say children are the biggest accountability officers you will have. I can't tell you how many times. And it's interesting with my daughter, right? If I say I'm on a fast or I say I'm fasting from certain things, my daughter never remembers what I'm fasting for until I reach for one of the cupcakes that she likes, or something. Like I can, all the stuff. And she won't remember nothing. But as soon as I come,
Yeah.
Mom, aren't you fasting from sugar? Aren't you?
Hmm.
Isn't that on the list? Isn't that on the list? Aren't you fasting from sugar?
Yeah. My daughter's the same way. She likes to
Uh,
hold me accountable.
So,
I'm
but
looking for a
accountability
new
definitely
budget.
is needed in growth.
Yeah, definitely. Children are
And
great
then,
that way.
I have to. I'm grown. I'm the mama. I'm grown. But accountability is needed for growth. It is
Yeah.
because you don't miss what you don't measure.
Hmm.
And so I think the awareness that comes from accountability, like I was my son different. He is actually one of their homeschool spelling bees. What do we do? It's on Thursday.
Nice.
Um, Responsibility is different from responsibility. Responsibility is knowing what you have to do. Accountability is knowing what you doing something with the fact that you know what you have to do.
Hmm.
So those are two different. They're cut from the same cloth per se, but they just got some different text. They got some different quality of the durability. Accountability is actually applying that and being think a lot from us. When I say us, I don't mean women. I don't mean I mean us as beings. No one likes to really be accountable
Hmm.
for things that we think that we shouldn't even have any, because sometimes, as someone wise said too, it may not be your fault, but it is your problem.
Hmm.
Okay, so some things that we have to be accountable for, these aren't things that we were necessarily responsible for, but we still have to be accountable for how you know, when I say certain things, because I can be a little sharp with this tongue, and I have to be accountable for how I decide, even if it's an intention to hurt, I still
Hmm.
have to be accountable for how that made them feel. And I
Right.
think
Very
that
true.
we there's a lot to learn from that. So again, kudos to you, Miss Nakia. Kudos for you
I have
for
another
taking that
question.
step forward. Taking
What is your definition of wealth
Mhm.
since we're redefining wealth?
Yes, that was my question.
Oh wow, you know what? This is a great conversation because so my ex-husband, as Toya knows, Mr. Esquire, he's a lawyer, and he's a good one at that. He's a very smart one, very smart man, a lawyer, and his wife now is a lawyer as well. And so my children just came back from they go visit him once a month down in Miami. And they my mom my daughter, you know, they're rich, they're wealthy, but we're normal. We're normal. It's, yeah.
Huh?
I said, we are wealthy. We're very wealthy. And she said, well, because they were able to they go shopping, once a month, and they get anything they want off of Amazon, and they're ordering up. And I said, having access to money does not make you wealthy.
Mhm.
Wealth comes from opportunity. And so
Mhm.
I'm very wealthy in connections. I'm a
Mhm.
very well connected person. I'm wealthy in the word of the Lord, very wealthy. I'm wealthy in good friends, quality
Mhm.
friends. I'm talking
Mhm.
about friends that literally have given me the shirt off their back. I'm talking
Mhm.
about friends that when I lost my home, I was evicted from my, were able to put me rent free for 6 months in an apartment, where it was just me and my children. I didn't have to go live in a shelter. I didn't have to go. I'm talking about friends that had positions, in places that I was able to get, $150, $200 night rooms for $25 because they're in that. So, I wanted to point her, and I said, and also I'm wealthy in the fact that I don't have to run down, money all day because I know my worth, I know my value. I don't have to run a paycheck all day. I'm able to take a nap when I want to. The fact that honey, my that's my daughter's at any given night, no, I may not be able to take to the restaurant of your choice every night, but I cook you whatever you want every night. It's
Mhm.
wealthy. If it's wealthy in the fact that I have these recipes, wealthy in the fact that I can get these ingredients, wealthy in the fact that I can put that thing together. Honey, I did a jerk pesto pasta last night, honey, knock socks off. I said, they would put that in a restaurant somewhere. Cheesecake Factory would sell that for, $35, $40 for the entree. But
Mhm.
you got to enjoy it last night for free. That's
Mhm.
wealth. And so I said we have to redefine what that means, because I think that's directly tied to how people value themselves, their time, their energy, what they base their purpose on, their priorities upon, and also where they see themselves making these impacts in life. A lot of people think that if they don't have a lot of money, they can make a difference. That's so untrue. That's so untrue. I think about all of the, I'm an author. Um, I think about all of the authors that died penniless,
Mhm.
but were impacted by their works. Purvis Young, an amazing artist out of Overtown, Miami, Florida, died very much not impoverished, but very much, being a very towards the end of life because of uh, in the real opportunities to get his properly being properly compensated for them. Now, one of the posthumously, Purvis Young is one of the biggest, well-known artists out of Miami. And so we really, and think about our ancestors. Think about these plantations that they have built. Wink, wink. These properties they built. Think about the wealth that they have created with their own hands. But just
Mhm.
because they don't have access to that money, you, we're you're not thinking of them as being well descendants of being wealthy, but we
Mhm.
are. So we're wealthy and plenty.
Mhm.
But it's again where we put our value, and put our priorities. I think that definitely dictates a lot. So the way I define wealth not be the same way, the next person does. But I think if we truly look at the things that um, make us happy in life or make a quality life, we will start to realize and appreciate. that that these may not be things that are necessarily monetarily achieved.
Mm.
You can't put a price on a good hug, said Iyanla Van Zandt. You can't put no price on that. A good hug, especially at a real time we need it. You can't put no on it. So,
That is
and
true.
and
That
last
is
time I checked, hugs are free. Good.
yes. I choose not to
That is
barter in that
that
tender,
is
but I
true.
understand.
Well, for a long time, I was definitely the one. I would say, you know, I had a saying, hugs were good for kids and cops. That used to be my saying. And I have, like I said, definitely I would say the last 15 years of my life have been incredibly uh eye opening and absolutely just, I've become a believer time and time again. And so, though, I used to hate to say good morning. I would say ain't nothing good about a morning. And so that's why I was saying grand rising before the whole conscious and woke community. I was saying that as a child, nothing good about a morning, you know. What, Courtney, the fact that you woke up, and I'd be like, uh, la- every bit of the way I challenge my mom, I get through my son. But I would always say that she said, well, you're gonna need something to say when you get up there because it's rude to just not speak, as you're walking through the house in the morning. So I said, top of the morning, grand rising, and I always say it real sarcastically. But now those same words, I love to wake up and just to first of all to be able to wake up with the sun and not having to beat the sun out to your job, just letting the sun wake you up, honey.
Woo, child. Yes,
Grand
Lord.
rising. Grand rising. Top of the
That goes
morning.
for nothing because I still
Absolutely.
have a job.
Hmm.
I love my job though, so I'm good.
I wish I had my tissue, honey. I'd offer a tissue up for you. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 typically. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 for about 2 years now. About 3 years. About a year before the pandemic, so about 2 years now.
Hmm.
And that was actually a promise that I made with God when I was in the hospital shortly before the world shut down for because of COVID. I was in the hospital with my daughter. She had had an asthma attack, and they were keeping her because they were fearful that it might. She was at risk of developing pneumonia. There was some
Hmm.
fluid, and so they kept us in the hospital. And we were in the hospital that week. And I said, God, if you just let me sit still and not go back to work, I said, I'll do your will, God. Just let me sit still. And 2 weeks later, COVID happened. And I said, God, I don't play about his people. Confirmation. I never went back. I never went back to my job. And I love to tell the story because the people that I worked for were believers as well. I didn't have a typical 9 to 5, and it was a cushy setup. It really was. It was probably the best job I had had since I worked for the city. But they were believers as well. I never went back to work, but they had Bible study every Tuesday. And I would go over there every Tuesday, and they never go to nobody. I never went back to work, but I would go over to the Bible study. I would bring food. I would bring my Grove aid, but I never clocked in another day. I never clocked in another day at work,
That's
and
very fortunate. Very fortunate.
it was amazing. And I still thank you both, Kelly and Rick. They were very supportive actually during my move here to Atlanta. They very supportive. Like I said, wealthy in connections I am. They put us up in a beautiful tri-level townhome so we could move out of, the apartment and didn't have to have rent accruing after my move out date. So they put us up in a nice, beautiful townhome, and we were able to stay there for a few weeks before we moved up here to Atlanta. So very, very appreciative. Very
So I have
appreciative.
one final question. I'm going to give you the final word.
Yes, please.
In creating change one task at a time, what is the most important task?
Wow. The most important task I think is uh being aware of what you want to do ultimately. Like I
Mm,
the mile 1,000 miles starting step. Oh, but you have to have vision. Like if like I said, in the top of the broadcast, if you are a parent and you're in a school system, you know what I would hate to hear. I'm not one for it. I'm not a gossipy type of female. I never have been. I won't say I never have been, but as far as I can remember, I haven't been. I don't like people just complaining. So if you are aware of an issue that you want to tackle, talking about it is what you should do. I always tell people at events, because I do events once a month. You're gonna find resources at my events. You're gonna find people to connect with at my events. You're gonna find some free food at my events. What you will not find at my events are expenses. Okay. So you want to be aware of something that you want to accomplish. I think that's the first task, and it's very small. I think you should write it. I always tell people to keep a journal handy. I
mhm,
love to get these little journals from the dollar store.
mhm,
Um, when I have a little bit more in my budgets, y'all, when I'm putting my price together and I have more in my budget, I might upgrade to something from Target or even Dollar General. They're about $3 or $4 at at CVS and at Walgreens. But
mhm,
for the most part, you can get some nice ones too from Ross that are like $4,
mhm,
that are like the bound ones. I have some on the other side. But most of the time, people give me those as gifts, and I'm
mhm,
always very grateful. But
mhm,
I write down, even if it's just a word at the top of there. I don't know if you see that. It says never be the same. I write down a word from a song, and I just let myself, journal. I may write down a song title. I may write down a quote, an affirmation, but you want to write it down.
mhm,
If you're playing, and I don't care how big it is. And I think, like Ayanna said too, just stealing her a little bit, stealing her quotes today a little bit. If your vision does not make you like a little scared, pee down your leg a little, it ain't big enough. And I think
mhm,
everybody should have just an amazing vision, for the because like the saying goes, shoot for the moon, because that way if you don't succeed, what among the stars, and you'll still be glowing. So you want to make sure that you have some type of vision. It may be something big. If you write down, I want this school system to be able to have you know start school 2 hours later, because
mhm,
getting 7-year olds up at 6 o'clock in the morning is just not natural. You know, you may look at that and say, oh, they ain't never going to do that because I'm one person, I'm one person, I'm one person. But you'll be so surprised by when you put that thing down on paper, in these words down on paper, and you see this, you be amazed how many people can come into alignment, people that help you with it. And it may not be people that can help you with it. You'd be surprised at what you can do to do that. Things
mhm,
like that start literally with just a vote that builds, a resolution that's made, resolution into legislation, and people realize how simply, laws are man-made. We like to sit around here and act like, oh, well, that's against the law. Laws are made by man. Somebody wrote that down, and they just had enough people getting by. So we have to be aware of our poor when we're envisioning and when we're living an extraordinary life.
Thank you very much.
Ooh, that was beautiful. My takeaways: be aware, just be aware, dream big, and be on purpose. You know,
Always.
yeah, yeah,
What do you have to
always.
lose by dreaming big, y'all? What
Nothing,
do we have to lose by dreaming big? Nothing.
nothing.
And it's amazing that we can tell our children all the time, "Oh, you can do it. You can be it. You can do it." But then, they look at us and we playing it small. Stop playing
Hmm.
small. Take away from that. Be
Yes,
extraordinary. And like you said, be on purpose. I love that. Look that on a shirt. On purpose.
it is. It's coming.
On purpose. Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
I may
Ooh,
be
awesome,
late, but I'm
Courtney.
on purpose.
That's right. That's right. I don't care if you're 40, 80, 110. Be on purpose.
Absolutely. As long as you're on purpose, you're right on time.
That's right. Ooh, as long as you're on purpose, sis, you right on time. Yes, yes. Any other
It.
questions for
That's
Courtney?
it. That's it.
All right, awesome. So we're gonna go to our sponsor for today, and then we'll come back to you, Courtney, for your final word. Okay, cool. So today's
Absolutely.
sponsor is none other than our beautiful, gorgeous, so intelligent Nakia Don Whitaker Way. Yes.
So, I am an administrative professional with over 24 years of experience, and I love to keep it super simple. So, you can reach out to me at kidsvirtualservices.com.
Awesome, awesome. And guys, the kid has managed some fantastic projects for us, for my team. So definitely reach out. Go to kidsvirtualservices.com. She is phenomenal. Yes. All right, Courtney, what's your final word, sis?
Really here with everyone to shout out Pastor himself giving me such an opportunity that I'm for, and it has been incredible. I've had connecting with the beloved community church, as well as him giving me the opportunity to become their the situations producer. So this is a new
Woohoo.
opportunity, a new opportunity, a new role, and a new show. So I have been really enjoying my time. I'm lining up some extraordinary guests that are being very well received, looking at a number and just so proud to really be doing this work. Give my baby absolute my diamond and son came mama's womb from mama's heart out of mama's womb, my very own legacy bearers. um and last but not least, just wow, just thanking God and for these opportunities, and really reminding myself every day to be grateful. Every day we have something to be grateful for. And I think that when we're talking about living an extraordinary life, leaving an extraordinary legacy, that is absolutely tantamount that we must have this connection with the one from whom all blessings flow, knowing who the source is, where the resources come from. So I'm so grateful that God has literally connected me to wonderful opportunities, and just giving me a reason every day, giving me a reason every day to do what I do. To my wonderful network, MX Media Group, love y'all, mean it. Um, uh, to my Glow Nation, y'all keeping me glowing and going. To all of my
Hey.
Colored Only Cafe community, all of my backers, all of my Glow, my UCF Urban Country Homes, the whole spot website, well as be for it moving into our membership. Just thank you. If I missed any, me, but I really do love you. Appreciate you all. I appreciate you. I mean it. TV will be my guest tomorrow on What's Glowing On Wednesday. Definitely. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. And so again, I just realized that we're not doing this thing alone. There may be plenty of times that we're lonely, but we're never alone. So keep your head up. All right. Shoulders back, head up. I'm gonna say that going out the house. Keep your head high. Shoulders back, head
Awesome.
high.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, y'all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And Courtney, we couldn't hear everything at the end there, so please make sure you put all your information in the comments too when you get a chance. But thank you guys. We'll see you again this time
Oh,
next
sure.
week. Yes, on Soultiful. Bye.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.